Hi there.
It's the most public yet of my many humiliations.
Was this your first time back to the theater in a year?
Yeah, thanks for that.
I'm so glad. It was the Paw Patrol movie. I know which movies have to be midnight screenings or midday screenings or whatever. Like Reminiscence, The Protege, The Night House. I only need a few minutes to talk about those. The Paw Patrol movie, gotta get Rob on the phone. That requires talking about the experience.
If I get the Delta variant from this and it takes me out, you will not sleep. But I will haunt you every second for this.
Yes, but you've got a dog now, so I'm sure he's got the Paw Patrol on speed dial.
Thank you. You
sorry.
that without insulting my mutt. As for this film, fascist anti-cat propaganda.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It is. This movie is not Lloyd approved.
No.
At all. The one where the authoritarian evil mayor with all the power in the world and his cat
all
minions.
Cat-based.
I love how packed it was in there.
Oh
my God.
I'm gonna die from seeing this movie, and I'm gonna have to sit there and be like, that was the last movie I saw in the theater.
It is the most crowded movie I've been to in a year and a half.
I just was assuming, because whenever we see something, it's so not crowded.
Yeah,
I didn't even think about it. I'm like, it's a packed house, and they're all children, and children are all little petri dishes.
We were so out of place. Oh my God. I love going to movies like this just for the experience of talking about it afterwards.
Gen Xers sitting there. Like, without any kids. My favorite was, you got up to hit the restroom before the movie started, and it was like assigned seating.
Yeah.
And so this woman comes up with her 3 kids, and she's like, oh, you had set your popcorn down in what was one of her seats. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, this is one of our seats too. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, my little one got up to go to the bathroom. Sure, yeah, I'll move his popcorn for you. And then you came back and sat down, and she just kind of did a double take, like, whoop.
Oh, yeah, well, they might have figured that I was here intentionally, given my happy ass is walking into this toddler movie with my Oogie Loves bag. Like, the guy buying tickets for a movie like this is fantastic, because I go in there.
Thank you, by the way, for ordering them online, so I did not have to face that indignation.
Oh, I still had to, because I had to get them printed out, and the guy's like, 14 on your right. I've got my Oogie Loves bag on me, looking at me like, sir, what's your damage? And it is near...
Sir, just so you know, we have cameras in this place. Don't get touchy-feely with the children.
Oh, it's bad enough. I've got a camera coming into the place the Oogie Loves bag. What is he planning on doing with that? It was hard enough trying to pick a t-shirt to go to this movie for 2-year-olds. I'm like, the Pennywise shirt? I don't know. Maybe mixing that in the hat would be a little bit too much.
What do you say about this movie? I've got nothing to say.
I mean, I could say the fact that, again, I thought we were going to go to this movie and it would be dead, because this movie is this movie's also on streaming. It's on Paramount Plus.
Yeah.
But no, totally sold out. We're near the front, and there's just families and kids surrounding us in our row. I kept forgetting sometimes, so like...
It was some of the most obnoxious kids, too. The second the movie started, that one kid, Paw Patrol! Paw Patrol! Paw Patrol! And I'm like, Jesus. And then my favorite was the little, like, must have been a 2-year-old just spazzing the fuck out during any action scene. I am not making this up. Is it?
Yeah.
And I was just like, Jesus Christ. She had to be 4 rows behind us. And I'm like, fuck me. Maybe as a grown-ass adult, I shouldn't be in here.
Oh, for our sake, I would have hoped we would have turned around and it was actually a 40-year-old man.
No, Ned Flanders.
Yeah, during the trailer for this, again, we're surrounded by kids at this. During the trailer for this, the trailer for Sing 2 comes on. I'm sitting there and just instinctively, I'm like, ugh.
The Secret Life of Singing Pets 2 or whatever.
Then the part that you talked about where the logo for this movie came on and one of the characters was on screen and the kids just shout the character's name and you lean over to me just, I hate you. We got a couple of laughs out of the movie.
Mostly because we were writing a much darker movie.
Yeah. Oh.
She's like, hey, I know this street inside and out. It's like, I've been a streetwalker all my life.
And we both, for the scene where there's the news conference going on TV, and then suddenly you see that the villain is watching this and a shoe goes through it, like it's Batman, like it's 89 Batman.
This town needs an enemy.
Yeah, the villain's Paw Patrol, Paw Patrol, and both of us look at each other. This town needs an enema.
The evil mayor who looked like he acted like Donald Trump, but he looked like the hotel manager from Ghostbusters.
I had no idea it would be so much. I'm not paying
I'm not paying it.
He did.
Hope we could do this nice and quietly. He even had the same voice, which is very nasally like this.
Crossed with the Monopoly man, this guy, Mayor
Humdinger.
Mayor Humdinger in the film. I don't know. I mean, most of any kind of chuckle that we kind of got out of it was just if something was reminding us of another movie. And the fact that, you know what? I do kind of like that this movie, all right, let's be honest.
It's a dog dealing with PTSD.
Yes!
Yeah. I was laughing because it's just like, what's wrong? What's the dog's name? Flash or
something like that.
Yeah, it's like, what's wrong, buddy? It's just like, I have memories. I'm like, oh shit, numb flashback.
There might as well be. He's
up to hear like choppers, like.
Oh yeah, he's up on the building at one point, and like he's like shaking. His eyes are closed, and you just see a helicopter fly over
right there,
him,
just like
with this helicopter, as if Fortunate Son is gonna start playing out of nowhere.
I remember Hamburger Hill.
Yeah.
I remember turning to him like, woof, that tour in Afghanistan was rough.
That would have been one of the jokes in this movie.
It would have.
That's most of the jokes are things like that. Where like, whoa, that was off the leash.
That was like the most annoying thing about it. I mean, it's like, what do I say about it? Like we could be
it's for 3-year-olds.
We could be like one of those obnoxious, like, video essayists who are gonna go on and on about like the ins and outs of the filmmaking and the craft and where this works and where it doesn't. It's like, what do you say about something like this? I mean, it's literally aimed at 4-year-olds.
It is.
As a critic, like, I would have had a 2-sentence review. Mostly harmless. If you're under the age of 7 or over the age of 70, go see it.
Yeah.
Like, that's all you can say about it.
If you're a parent, you might be shit out of luck, because, like, yeah, most of the jokes in the movie are those kind of dog puns. Like, I know this city like the back of my paw.
I can't sit here and say, like, oh, this was bad.
I'm
like,
the same way.
It's made for 4-year-olds. How can, like, this isn't Playing with Fire or the Bobbleheads.
It's not Norm of the North.
I was not.
This,
in fact, this is one of the most inoffensive, like, just bland things you'll ever see, where it's like, it's just designed to be inoffensive.
Which is probably why the reviews for it are pretty good. Because,
I know, when I saw 90%, I'm like, wow, we're seeing the best reviewed film of the weekend.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and speaking, I did a poll, I did a poll over on the community section that said, which of the 4 movies this weekend am I gonna like the best? And at a whopping 61%, they said the Paw Patrol movie. I thought that was gonna come in last, but they're like...
I'll say this.
The correct answer was The Night House.
If I were 5 years old, I would love this movie.
Probably. Maybe. I don't know.
I'm a grown-ass adult, and I don't love this movie.
Yeah.
I actually would have rather watched almost anything else, aside from some of the worst things we've watched. But if I were 5, sure.
Yeah.
I mean, they know, like, it's like kids like tech. They like gadgets. They like puppies. They like this was so tailor-made for kids that the worst joke in the goddamn thing was like, wow, how could you afford all this? Well, from all of our Paw Patrol merchandise. They hold up a t-shirt. There was dead silence, and out loud, I caught myself. I'm like, oh shit. But out loud, I just went, wow.
Merchandising.
And then the old guy like looked at me like, I'm like, sorry.
Oh, did he really?
Yeah, he was just like, sir, this is Paw Patrol. But I was like, wow. I'm like, that is devious. It's like,
as
hey
he's
kids,
ordering
you want to
on his
support
phone.
the Paw Patrol? You gotta buy their shit. And they're all designed, like, I felt like I was just watching plushy toys running around in their little, like, remote control cars or whatever, their little Tonka trucks. And I'm just like, yeah, like, this is perfectly designed for 5-year-olds, and it's ingeniously twisted. the way it's merchandised, because I'm just like, I could just see, like, just if I were a 5-year-old, I'm like, I want that vehicle, I want that vehicle, that one, I want all these plushies.
And it does certain things that you expect a movie like this to do, where it's mostly about introducing a new character.
Yeah.
And movies like
Liberty, Liberty, Liberty.
Yeah.
That's all I could think. Her name is Liberty. I kept thinking of this goddamn commercials.
I kept thinking, I wonder if they originally wanted Tiffany Haddish for this part.
Well, they got Kim Kardashian to play the poodle. You didn't stay for the end credits.
Oh, she was
And
the
guess
poodle?
what? Yeah, the black guy at the beginning in the Canadian truck or whatever, that was Tyler Perry.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
No, I didn't know that.
And, who was the other one? Jimmy Kimmel was he the mayor or somebody else? I don't know. He was fucking somebody.
Also, movies like this always seem to be about a villain with a weather machine.
Yeah. And there's
Wasn't that the case in
somehow
Arctic
they
Dogs?
managed to have a sky portal.
They got a skyport.
Yeah.
The movie is repetitive,
But its target audience is 5.
but what I mean is,
Like, I
know,
can't even
I
argue
feel like
this
I
is
gotta
not-
say something
Yeah,
about this.
I can't even argue this is not like a Disney movie or a DreamWorks where it's like, oh, it's all ages. or
No,
at
it
least
is
under
not.
12. I'm like, this movie is literally like, by the time you get beyond the age of 7, you're too old for
Yeah,
this.
I mean, if I'm talking about just, I can't say this, the story of this film.
How dare
it's
you.
the same 30 minutes repeated.
Yeah,
It's-
they go through rescues. He has PTSD. My favorite is at the end where he rescues the little boy. And I was
Oh.
like, I so wanted him to drop that kid. And then, like, it has this dour ending. And then
Yeah.
you open the sequel and he's like, fucking Lethal Weapon, living in a trailer,
Yeah.
like remembering. And they're like, he's like, I used to be a cop, man. I used to be a cop.
it's
It's a perfect movie.
It's the mayor building these contraptions and
Yeah.
they fail somehow and they have to come in and rescue them. What I liked about that last scene with the sky portal
Mm-hmm.
or whatever that was is that suddenly in the last 20 minutes of the movie, it starts becoming shot like a Zack Snyder movie.
Yeah.
Like with the dark ass thunderstorm
No,
going
and I
on,
mean, it's-
slow motion, rain,
It has
screaming.
a budget, not a very good budget.
Some of the
but-
animation's fine.
But I
like,
feel I've never seen the show.
neither have
All I can assume is it's Nickelodeon, but I've never
Yeah.
seen it because I'm a grown ass adult. But I just felt like watching the movie. I'm like, yeah, this feels like it would have been an upgrade. Like, I can't imagine the show looked this good. So, but what do you do for this? It's not even like, oh, haha, it's hilarious, man.
No.
Like bobbleheads or like, there's nothing wrong with it. It's like, oh, it's got some dad jokes. It's aimed at 5-year-olds. That's the only time dad jokes work.
The movie seems like it probably is an accurate movie adaptation of the show.
I'd love to see little 5-year-olds, like little neckbeard 5-year-olds going like, this was a piss poor adaptation of the show. They did not do right by the source material.
I wish. Oh my god! Like, yeah, just some 5-year-old screaming out in the lobby. What grade do you give this? Because this is kind of hard. Like,
B minus.
Yeah.
Okay, it's intended. I'm okay. If you're a kid, I'd say like probably if you're a kid 5 or under or a grown up over 70, bringing your grandkids, I'd probably go B. As an
Right.
adult, like just me witnessing it, like probably C minus, but I would average it out because I'm not the audience, so I would say
I
like
know.
B minus.
I'm kind of averaging it out too because this isn't like Norm of the North, where
No,
it's like
no.
made for toddlers and fails at that in a lot
this
of
was
regard.
this was wholesome to the point where I just was like,
Yeah.
can we get some Cat Lives Matters protests that the cop dog has to break up? Like,
Yeah.
I just kept taking it down dark places. I'm
I
like,
know.
bring out because he's like the kid's always barking orders to them. I just really like, yeah, I want to see some Cat Lives Matter protests. Like, bring out the tear gas. You cordon off that street.
Mm.
You arrest those dissidents. You silence the media.
I mean, it is strictly for toddlers. I don't see very many adults enjoying
No.
this, but it's definitely not made for an all ages kids movie demographic. This
No.
is something that the parents might not have the best time sitting through, but the kids in the audience sure as hell liked it. So I guess it's a pretty accurate depiction of the show. So I give it a C plus. Take that as you'll take it.
B minus. We're in the same category.
Yeah, we are.
I got nothing.
Uh-huh.
This isn't like, I know so many people wanted us to like review this as if it was gonna, but it's just like, it's not that bad. Like, Playing with Fire and Bobbleheads gave us way more to work with.
And Arctic Dogs.
And Arctic Dogs.
Playmobil.
Playmobil. This is way more.
Yeah.
This is like this is more like, it's as close to Disney as you can get with Nickelodeon, but this is like just a Disney property where it's all manufactured just to be bland enough where it's not really that offensive. So it's like you can't really complain about it that much.
You'd probably be better off just watching it streaming, but again, well, one, it'd be cheaper if you're bringing your family, but at the same time, though, the kids seem to have a good time in that theater.
They did. There were some moments where I was thinking this movie's long and there was just dead silence out of the kids, and I'm just like, either they're enraptured by this or even they're just
napping.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, next week is another children's movie. It's Candyman. That's coming out next week, so see you then.
Why don't you bring me to those movies?